godfather of the voyeurs drill. Shout out my boy, DEMEGODTV.
It's Wave God in this motherfucker. Hey, shout my nigga Demi T though.
Got song pop like I'm Iggy. All they talking about is last night like I'm Demi. Say you got.
Rupees donated $5. Damn ski pulled the Michael.
Let's see what the
What's up, Dean TV, Dean Nation, Dean Mafia. Today we doing a reaction, Watch Mojo reaction to 10 beloved holidays with surprisingly dark origin stories. And if you're new to the channel, Dean family, like, comment, subscribe, and share the video on all social media. And comment below what reaction you want to do next. And check out the original video in the description box below. And yeah, we're gonna do D because I've been I'm interested to learn about it and know more about it, cause this something that we can educate ourselves on, both of us on, getting family, educate other people on, and share it to them, you feel me? And yeah, check out the original video, roll to 100K million in the bill, so click that subscribe button. Let's birthday as a family and as a nation, you feel me? And check out the DNTV clothes merch in the description box below, and go copy something, you feel me? And hope everyone well safe through this pandemic, and happy holidays. And no further ado, let's get into this reaction.
It was an act of defiance that changed the course of a nation.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the dark history behind our most celebrated holidays.
He was a victim of his time. Who cares? It's what he did.
For this list, we'll be looking at the surprisingly dark origins behind some of the most cherished, beloved, and widely practiced holidays. Which of these stories did you find the most shocking? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10, Valentine's Day. Today, Valentine's Day is a special day for romantic partners, often involving flowers and chocolate.
I'd like to send a dozen of those to the best girl at my school, and this musical card.
Well, a dozen of those. It's okay. All right.
It's a far cry from the death of Saint Valentine himself, which was, well, it wasn't very pretty. Christians were persecuted throughout the Roman Empire from about the 1st to 4th centuries. Saint Valentine was a Roman clergyman who evangelized the gospel, ministered to Christians and allegedly married couples, and it got him in some hot water. Emperor Claudius Gothicus asked Valentine to renounce Christianity and stop evangelizing to the persecuted, but Valentine refused. He was arrested and subsequently executed.
It is believed that young couples he had secretly wed would visit his cell, passing him flowers and notes through the bars as symbols of their gratitude. Wow. The story continues that the condemned Father Valentine fell in love with his jailer's daughter.
He was eventually martyred, and St. Valentine's Day was established for February 14th by Pope Gelasius I.
It wasn't until the 1300s, though, that the holiday became definitively associated with love and romance.
Number 9, Labor Day.
It's not just about having that Monday off. It's dedicated to those who worked hard and fought for workers' rights.
As you can probably imagine, the history behind Labor Day is quite dark. Back in the late 19th century, laboring jobs were notoriously difficult and dangerous. The average
isn't that still going on today, low-key?
Laborer could expect long hours, no days off, and excruciating working conditions with little regard for health and safety.
Many jobs were difficult, dirty, and dangerous. People worked for 12 hours, 6 days a week, without fringe benefits, such as vacations, health care, and pensions.
In the midst of labor rights debates and an economic depression, the Pullman strike of 1894 occurred. The strike began in Chicago and quickly spread throughout the United States, significantly disrupting the country's railroads. Federal troops were brought in to quell the strikes, and the resulting riots caused $80 million in damages and 70 deaths.
People were killed. It was a terribly violent strike. It was not a happy day for labor.
To help stem the criticism, President Grover Cleveland signed Labor Day into law just a few days after the disastrous strike ended.
Despite Labor Day being signed into law, it would be another few decades before working conditions we see today, like the 8-hour workday, 5-day work week, and protection for children in the workplace were signed into law. Today, Labor Day also marks the unofficial end of summer. Today, Labor Day also marks the unofficial end of summer.
Number 8, Purim. Taking place in either February or March, Purim is a Jewish holiday in which costumes are worn and feasts are enjoyed.
Tens of thousands take to the streets each year to celebrate. Here, everyone dresses up in wild, wacky costumes, enjoys the sunshine, and drinks a lot.
It centers around the book of Esther in the Hebrew Bible, and the story is not pleasant, to say the least. Esther is chosen to become the wife of Persian king Ahasuerus, and her cousin Mordecai refuses to bow to the king's primary advisor, Haman. In retaliation, Haman tries to eliminate every Jewish person in the kingdom.
She conspires in a very strange way, inviting the foolish king
Really well on Rampage.
That guy to a feast twice, and then reveals that her people is under threat. The king says, "How can I save you?"
He's unsuccessful, and the holiday of Purim is held to celebrate the Jewish people's deliverance from total extermination.
Everything was topsy-turvy, was turned against him. He plotted to destroy the Jewish people. Instead, those who wanted to perpetrate that evil, Haman and his flock, were themselves destroyed.
The exact historical nature of this story is debated, with some believing that King Ahasuerus is a fictionalized version of Xerxes I. Number 7, St. Patrick's Day.
Ireland was a beautiful island, shrouded in terrible darkness. Warlords and druids ruled the land. But across the sea in Britain, a teenager was poised to bring this nation to God.
Really, any holiday with saint in front of it is bound to have a morbid story.
Yeah.
Living throughout the 5th century, St. Patrick is credited with bringing Christianity to Ireland. And poor Patrick did not have a good life. Despite being the patron saint of Ireland, Patrick was actually born in Britain. However, he was kidnapped by pirates as a teenager and taken to Ireland as a slave. It was while working as a slave that Patrick discovered Christianity and developed a relationship with God.
Oh Lord, help me.
You ain't gonna say nothing.
I sink in a deep mire and there is no foothold. Many are those who destroy my work. Mine enemies accuse me falsely.
He later returned home, but went back to Ireland as a Christian missionary. But even his life in Ireland was not easy, as he constantly lived as an outsider and was at one time beaten and put in chains.
Jesus.
Now, legend has it that Patrick drove all the snakes out of Ireland, but to tell you the truth, there never were snakes on the island. When he finally died, Patrick became the patron saint of Ireland, despite his British heritage.
Number 6, Halloween. The origin of Halloween is a debate mirrored in disagreements over historical authenticity. One leading theory is that Halloween is a Christianized version of an old Celtic festival called Samhain. With possible links to paganism, Samhain was also held on October 31st and honored the year's harvest.
For ancient peoples, harvest was a matter of life and death. If crops failed, people starved. Death was always close.
Samhain was a dark night, as it was believed that dead relatives and dangerous spirits roamed the streets.
It was the time when the veil between death and life was supposed to be at its thinnest.
The citizens would leave offerings of food to appease the spirits and ensure their survival. Bonfires were also held to drive away evil spirits.
On a day when so many spirits lurked, Druid priests tried to foretell whether their villages would survive the winter. Ordinary Celts lit great bonfires and disguised themselves to repel and confuse the spirits.
Modern trick-or-treating originated from guising, in which people protected themselves from evil spirits by dressing as them and collecting food from others on their behalf. Number 5, Columbus Day. There's a reason that Columbus Day has faced such
So basically, moral to the story, Halloween is they basically, the government with the system, what do you want to say, got people traditionize this holiday. Got people acting like they're basically spirits, basically. And the candy is basically the offerings, whatever they call ritual, what the kids, the switch with other candy. That's crazy. Damn.
Massive opposition throughout the years.
That better not be Columbus! Take it down!
He's going to burn the way our ancestors did!
Criticism of the holiday really heated up in the early 90s, as 1992 marked the 500th anniversary of Columbus's arrival in the Americas. Much of the criticism is aimed at the character of Columbus himself and the horrors that his arrival kicked off. The colonial expansion, mass killings, and deaths are all well documented, as is the brutal enslavement of the local indigenous population.
Europeans essentially tried to eradicate us. They brought disease. They brought, they banished us to reservations later on when the U.S. government became an active force.
Columbus himself is said to have enslaved and inflicted pain on many. That's why honoring and celebrating Columbus's importance, but ignoring such heinous atrocities, is unacceptable to many today.
Protests of Columbus Day recognition go back to its first days. In 1893, the Reverend R.S. MacArthur called Columbus a quote, bully and tyrant, guilty of many crimes against religion and morality.
Number 4, Day of the Dead. Despite its eerie name, Dia de los Muertos is an uplifting celebration in Mexican culture.
In English, it's Day of the Dead. But for these thousands of celebrants, it also means a loving tribute to life itself.
Usually celebrated from October 31st to November 2nd, Day of the Dead is a holiday used to honor the deceased and tell funny anecdotes about their life.
People go on journeys with the offerings and take them to the burial places. And they're sort of exploring this idea of the boundary between the living and the dead.
But its past is still marred by a dark history. Taking place on the same night as Halloween, it's believed that the Day of the Dead is also descended from Samhain and its European successor, All Saints' Day. It may also have precedent in an historic Aztec tradition, but this is not officially confirmed. The day has also faced intense opposition from the Catholic Church, which holds that Santa Muerte, the personification of death honored during the Day of the Dead, is satanic.
As the sun is losing the battle and the night is gaining, it's universally felt that this is the resurgence of the domain of the dead and our ancestors.
Uncompromising bourbon.
Do that mean that
Buffalo Trace.
saying this?
Resurgence of the domain of the dead and our ancestors.
Number 3, Feast of Corpus Christi. Established in the mid-13th century by Pope Urban IV and taking place on the Thursday after Trinity Sunday, the Feast of Corpus Christi is meant to celebrate the literal body and blood of Jesus Christ.
For us, one of the effects of the Eucharist, of the body and the blood of Christ, is unity. That Jesus brings us together, so all of us who receive His body and blood should realize that we're one family.
The Eucharist is a Christian rite in which bread and red wine is said to become the flesh and blood of Jesus through a process called transubstantiation. The holiday was declared after an event called the Corporal of Bolsena. During a 1263 Mass in Bolsena, Italy, the sacramental bread allegedly began bleeding. This allegedly proved the process of transubstantiation, although modern study claims that the blood is actually a bacteria called Serratia marcescens. Number 2, Thanksgiving. This November holiday shares many of the same criticisms that are aimed at Columbus Day. Days of Thanksgiving have been carried from England to New England by the Pilgrims, and they famously shared a Thanksgiving meal with the Native Americans at Plymouth in 1621.
Yet for later generations of colonists, New England Days of Thanksgiving had little to do with the 1621 Harvest Festival. Theirs was a religious holiday, descended from Puritan days of fasting, prayer, and giving thanks to God.
However, this story has been criticized by many in recent years who see it as a largely embellished story meant to hand-wave away the atrocities that were committed against the Native Americans.
After the Native Americans helped the Pilgrims survive their first winter in America, the Puritans invited them to share the first Thanksgiving.
Oh, these are adorably wrong.
To critics, one example of harmony, and an exaggerated one at that, does not excuse the later horrific cruelty towards the indigenous population at the hands of these so-called friends.
We do have the tradition of celebrating Thanksgiving, but there's
eaten, enslaved, raped, killed our people, then rewrote some history, then enslaved our other people, brung them over here. Yeah, shit crazy.
A big part of me that every time we sit down for Thanksgiving wants to talk about injustice and the fact that we're like living on stolen land.
Before we continue,
but you are.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Somebody take your shit that's stolen.
Number 1, Christmas. It's hard to imagine a holiday cozier than Christmas. Unfortunately, establishing the holiday was itself no holiday.
This actually looks kind of fun, Chuck.
I agree. Christmas has been celebrated since at least the year 800. But this changed in 1647 when the Puritans banned the holiday on the basis of public drunkenness.
It wasn't long until people took to the streets and pro-Christmas riots broke out.
This resulted in riots breaking out across several English cities as people really wanted to celebrate the holiday. Regardless, the Puritans stuck to their beliefs, claiming that Christmas was associated with the devil.
Described as a hideous horned creature, the servant Ruprecht was a dark and sinister figure who stood in stark contrast to the saintly Nicholas.
The holiday was also banned in many areas of colonial America as the Pilgrims forbade its celebration. As we know it today didn't start until the mid-1800s, and that's thanks in large part to Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol.
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from Watch Mojo. And be sure to
yeah, you know, y'all didn't add the rest of the stuff for Christmas. Yeah, because I talked about Christmas on my channel. And y'all go check that out, Dean Family, you feel me? Yeah, I liked this video. I think they talked about the pretty good, the right holidays, you feel me? And yeah, hope you like this Dean Family, D Nation. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video on all social media. Comment below reaction to do next. Check out Watch Mojo. Go show them some love. Tell them Dean sent you. I love you guys. I'm out.